Welcome to the PowerTalk Show powered by Business Talks Weekly. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us today. Before we start a conversation, can you tell us a bit about your professional background and what led you to start a new structured defined framework?
Yeah. Very diverse background. I'll start and make it quick, right? I grew up on a farm in the Midwest, learned how to do all the things you learn on a farm, working with my hands, and started into the landscape industry when I was really young as a teenager, mostly serving neighbors and stuff, right? But that kind of ballooned into more of a business. Working for a stonemason for a little while to learn that skill. So ended up building a landscape business for several years right after I got married, and we ended up selling that one. And after we sold that one was when I went full time into serving other business owners to help them get their operations in line and make sure that scaling was profitable and not chaotic. Main purpose being helping so that their whole life was scaling, not just their business, right? So their family and their health, all those things were in alignment.
Can you explain us a bit more about defined framework? I mean, what challenges do you see in the current business processes, and how defined framework help address that challenges?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Every business is unique, right? But we mostly serve outdoor trades. So outdoor construction, landscaping, roofing, painting, like home services that are done on the exterior, because that's what I've had much more experience in. And I've seen how those things can break down and the failures that can happen within systems and how to fix those and make them smooth. Really, it's a project of getting the team communicating well within and having a very clear, simple system that everybody understands so that they can carry that ownership together. I saw a ton of systems in my day that were just cookie cutter. They didn't make sense. It was just something that somebody grabbed somewhere and they didn't want to actually take the time to build a system. They just grabbed something they thought would work and it sat on a shelf and nobody used it. So I just like things to be really efficient, really clear, and accountability to be there so that you're not wondering who does what. And that's what we serve most of our clients with, is just helping get that clarified.
So you are very focused to a certain industry, but is it possible that you can expand it to a corporate or a tech line or a manufacturing line?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the same concept goes with, systems and anything. My specific skill set really gives me the experience to see the cracks and the problems within the construction industry. I know Toyota brought the 5S lean manufacturing type system and mindset around, or they're the most noted for it. And that's really a similar like process that we use. We use us with our clients. So it fits within, a really broad, you could, I mean, you can do it within retail. We did it with our bike shop, a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
There are so many process frameworks already in the market. Like, from the old times, there was Lean Six Sigma and process PMI, process management institutes as well. So how is defined framework different, or do you take certain attributes from these framework and apply it into your framework?
Oh, yeah, I do pull like some aspects of the things that I've learned from and used over the years. And the unique thing that I carry with our team is that we're not just consultants that know systems, right? As I've built multiple companies from the ground up to scale and sell. And so I've been in the trenches, I've worn all the hats. I know all the problems and the fires and all the things. And so what I've done with a lot of that as well is I just don't like extra. Like let's cut the fluff. Like let's get rid of all the extra weight. Let's make this as clean and simple as possible because then we can really move fast. And, as lean manufacturing is, it still gets heavy. And so you still got to you still got to get rid of stuff that just doesn't make sense. And so putting that into perspective and really making things easy on checklists, and all of our reporting is either a checklist or fill in the blank. Like, I don't wanna write anything. I don't wanna type anything out if we don't have to. It's just, my team doesn't have to think about how to explain something if it's repetitive. It's just already there, and we either check it or put in a number or whatever we need to do, and it makes things so much easier for technicians and new hires to catch on and really get up to speed quickly.
So, David, everybody is using AI in some other way right now. And if you see Claude, many people are using Cloud to have a workflow or create a process management system for their whatever they are working on for a framework. Are you using certain AI tools to your platform, or are you integrating with certain AIs to build your own?
I mean, I wouldn't be efficient if I wasn't trying it, right? So I love trying as much of the new stuff as I can, at least, in bites. Chat GPT has been really helpful. Claude's been really helpful. We're starting to kind of look into a couple of others that are in just different parts of the business that are supposed to be more specifically efficient, and like they're kind of all finding their lane. And the one thing that I have found is it still needs coaching, right? It does things really fast for you, but it still needs coaching. It still needs guidance. And so you still need to understand how a system needs to be built and how it should work to be efficient, to kind of get it to massage the final product. Yeah, but it's been amazing to have tools like that to help
Right.
us speed things up.
What has been your biggest challenge for growth right now?
As funny as it sounds, making sure that our systems are right on our end. That's what I do, and that's what we do as a team is make efficient systems and analyze and audit businesses to make sure everything's right. And so making sure that we turn the camera around and look at ourselves frequently enough to make sure that we are being efficient and that we're providing the great customer experience for that. That's been that's been an interesting part of what we're doing.
So how are you trying to like reach out to the clients? Are you part of an ecosystem, or are you directly reaching out, marketing yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've found like joining mastermind groups or peer groups has been one of the most valuable things for me. It really helps narrow the field of knowing, who our client is, and just being in the same room with them, providing value, and just knowing that I'm gonna give 10 times more than I'm gonna get, and that's totally fine. I love I love doing what I do, and I love seeing other business owners succeed and come through some challenges. And so sometimes they're not ready to scale with the type of systems that we put in place. So we have templates and stuff that I love sharing in those rooms, and help guys get to the level that they need to be. And then content creation, educational, I could do a much better job in that area. I'm still growing, and like getting our team comfortable and how we can do that together. So that's an area that stretches us for sure, but we're getting there.
David, so landscaping, yeah, like your focus is landscaping. It is a very traditional business. How have you seen the adoption to tech and like the content adoption and education by your team or collaborators?
I mean, I think it's kind of split. There's some that are still very old school and traditional, and they don't want to go that direction. They just want to do it, that way, and just kind of stay steady. And then there's I wouldn't even say it's just the younger generation, but probably more so the younger generation that is coming in and seeing they want to build a business that they can own and manage through technology and not have to be so entrenched in the day to day. It's been interesting to see that it was a bigger gap. It's starting to close, and it's nice to see that it's such a hands-on industry, but allowing technology to come in and really support and make things more efficient. Yeah.
Sense, makes sense. So, Dave, can you tell me a story where you faced a roadblock and with your defined frameworks, you came out and you were able to surpass your expectations?
Yeah. I mean, a really simple one is we see it quite a bit is fleet management with trucks. Construction industry of all kinds are really just kind of notorious for having messy trucks, tools everywhere, dirty, just throw it in there. We're tired at the end of the day, just throw it in there, just whatever. I'll clean it up tomorrow. And then tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into next month. And next thing you know, there's just junk everywhere. And every time you get to a job, you're digging for something, you can't find it. Maybe it's there and you pull it out and it's broken because you threw it in there or something landed on top of it. And so when we really take those trucks and trailers and organize them out and make sure that there's a place for everything and there's a process for the beginning and the end of day to load and unload. And first it seems like you're making me do all this extra stuff, But after a couple of weeks, when it kind of becomes routine and they start realizing how much smoother the day is running, how much easier the jobs are running, and then you look back after a month or two and you're like, oh, wow, we got an extra job or two done per week on average because we weren't digging for stuff. We got done and we could move on. So there was a lawn care company that we did that with, and it took their average stop, just the way we loaded the mowers and the weed eaters, all the equipment on the trailer in the right spots, and then trained them on how to load and unload. And we saved about like 60 seconds per stop. And they're a residential company. So they did about 15 to 18 stops a day. And when we were able to change that over, they were able to add, they were at like 24 stops a day. So they added almost 50% volume of like revenue per day that the same crew could do just based on how we loaded the trucks and how we did everything. So that was
Sense.
that was,
Basically, generating this increase in revenue with the same resources, no
yeah,
capex.
yep. Same crews, same
Absolutely.
equipment, nothing changed other than just how they loaded and unloaded and processed it.
Tiny change. Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
David, if you look back at your journey, what one thing would you have done differently?
I would have done systems sooner, right? Like when I first started, I was just like everybody else, just going harder and trying to just drive. And like I said, the first business we sold, or the first bigger business we sold, my wife and I, because it was just too much stress and anxiety on our marriage. And I hadn't been realizing how to fix it. And so we sold that business. And when we started the next one, I just said, you know what? I got to make sure that this thing doesn't own me in the evenings. I need time for my family, right? So I started putting systems in that could allow us to operate just during hours properly. And so that helped my family side. And then I started realizing like this is still I'm not in good shape. I'm not healthy. Like thankfully we were doing like physical work, but when I was not in the field anymore, I was just not in shape and I wasn't as healthy as I could be. And so I realized, okay, like I still need to keep going, and finally got a rhythm of how to make the systems work that didn't take so much of my time and my mental energy all the time, every day, so that I could actually do the things that were important for me to be healthy so that I could serve my team and our customers. So if I could go back and do it over again, I would just really buckle down on more like structure throughout from the very beginning.
So, how are you structuring now? How are you balancing your life now?
Yeah, my calendar looks like a colorful block project. Everything, every minute, everything has, a spot. I've learned to say no to a lot more things, so I can say yes to the things that matter. And once those systems were in place, you get the core stuff in place, but then you start building systems around like, oh, uh, this is when I say yes, and this is when I say no. And it's not like, oh, that feels good today. I think I'll say yes to it. It's like, no, I already know. I have my plan. This is the way we go. I have my assistant that helps me, keeps me honest, and makes sure I make the decision properly instead of breaking my own rules. And it's been really helpful.
So, David, what is the next for Define framework? Like, what is the vision for next 3, 5 years? What are you working on?
Yeah. Probably just expanding our team with more people who are integrator minded. We use kind of the EOS model in how we structure our positioning. And so there's a visionary and there's an integrator. And so many business owners are having trouble finding their integrator. And that's where systems and operations really shine, is in the integrator. And so we're kind of building a system and a plan to support integrators that can support visionaries so that we can grow our team and support more of the businesses that they can spend that time where it's valuable, whether it's family for them or whether they need to be more focused on sales and less, in the day to day.
One
Thank you.
final question, David.
Yeah.
One book that you would recommend every founder, every entrepreneur should read.
Buy back your time. It's like
Back.
simplifies everything. It's not new information, but it is the way Dan breaks it down. It's a fantastic book.
If you could explain me how it has helped in your life.
Yeah, the calendar structure and when to say yes and no, it made that much more simple so that I could explain to my assistant how to help support me in it. That's one way, and helping me understand the best way to utilize my assistant and I in teamwork.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for your time today and joining our channel today. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.